Thank you, Beth. Good, tight game there in Piscataway. We're expecting an outstanding game in College Park. Christy Tolliver getting ready to lead Maryland against North Carolina. It's number 2 versus number 3 coming up in a matter of moments here on ESPN2. Dave Revson alongside Kara Lawson and Stacey Dales. Do want to update you on one other score from the women's game earlier today, as Tennessee, no problem with Alabama, beat them for the 32nd straight time.
Well, Candace Parker just 3 of 10 from the floor, but Shannon Bobbitt picked up the slack. The JC transfer 6 3-pointers in this game.
So an 80-51 win for the Lady Vols, who improved to 19-2. Nearly 18,000 on hand, the first ever sellout at Comcast Center for a Maryland women's game. It's coming up next.
The Comcast Center bursting at the seams as North Carolina rolls into Maryland with unbridled confidence, single-minded in their mission. One more check mark. But Maryland remains poised tonight to display the resolve worthy of the reigning national champs. The Terrapins, the Tar Heels, coming up. In front of the largest crowd ever to witness an ACC women's basketball game tonight at the Comcast Center. Number 2 North Carolina taking on number 3 Maryland. North Carolina undefeated at 22-0, 6-0 in conference play. Maryland's lone conference loss so far against Duke. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones along with Doris Burke. Thanks for coming aboard. Rebecca Lobo joins us in just a few moments. Now, Doris, I don't think it's an overstatement to say we're not going to see this much star power on the court until maybe the Final Four.
6 Wade Trophy candidates, including 2 of the elite post players in the country. They go about their business a little bit differently. Larkins, big body, nimble feet, relentless on the offensive glass, an array of post moves. Langhorne, a terrific first step. She's nimble around the rim, Mark, and undersized, but finds a way to get it done.
All right, both teams with very good starting fives and very deep benches. There's a look at the respective starting lineups. Ivory Latta, the team's leading scorer at 15.5 points a game. Meanwhile, Christy Tolliver, the point guard spot for Maryland, coming off a game last time out where she went 6 for 6 from downtown. And we are ready to rock here, folks. Brenda Freese, the head coach, all she's done in her first 5 years is bring home a national championship to the University of Maryland, recently eclipsing the 100 victory mark while at Maryland. Sylvia Hatchell, meanwhile, a women's basketball Hall of Famer. Her credo this year, as it has been in the past years with this team, catch us if you can. They will run up and down the court. They try and get up to 100 possessions a game. They make basketball pretty fun to watch. The highest scoring team in the nation coming in. And we're underway. North Carolina in its familiar baby blue. Carolina blue and Maryland in the white. Here's Duran in the corner.
Carolina opens man-to-man, Mark. You really won't see anything else defensively once they get into the quarter court. They're going to press, trap. They can come at you full court, half court, three-quarter court. But when they get into the quarter court, they are all man-to-man.
Inbound to Maryland. Tolliver will inbound. It's it back to Langhorne. North Carolina team that comes up with a lot of steals. They lead the nation in that department.
Solid job by Larkins to, on the pass, release contact, Mark, and get around in the passing lane.
Little on the edges. McCants drifting a little bit on that shot. Good block out underneath. And here's Tolliver.
Tough shot. It's a right-handed shooter going left.
Coleman missing underneath. And Little got the rebound and had a little elbow action coming on. It came a little bit wide. No whistle. Larkins. They reposted to Elena Larkins. It's like they're really helping out and digging when it goes into the blocks. Larkins a little bit strong and neither team able to score yet.
Good patience, though. Carolina, a better basketball team when they go through Larkins.
Shea Duran knocks down the three.
She has not been stellar of late, but capable from out there, Mark. So I'm sure for Brenda Freese, her knocking down her first shot is a positive sign.
On pace to become the school's all-time leading scorer. On the baseline, Latoya Pringle showing markedly improved offensive skills this year.
Well, you've got two teams, Mark, that all can score from 5 positions. I mean, these are dangerous offensive basketball teams.
They come after Tolliver, Doris, here on a little half-court trap.
She's got to be careful. That's no man's land for her.
Langhorne had it partially blocked by Pringle, and Little helping out as well. They collapsed well that time on the Maryland penetration. Little looking inside for Larkins. Takes it herself. Got her own rebound and got a soft touch and a roll.
Carolina, their best shot sometimes, Mark, is their second shot. This is a great offensive rebounding team with athletes all over the floor. They crash from 15 feet. You've got to check them out.
Maryland getting through the half-court trap that time. A foul, actually no, a traveling violation and a turnover. And speaking of turnovers, we go courtside to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, that was Maryland's second turnover. And usually when you talk to coaches about the keys to the game, the mantra is rebounding and taking care of the ball. But this is one game where the coaches didn't seem too concerned with turnovers. Maryland's Christy Tolliver had 12 turnovers when these teams met in last year's Final Four, but Maryland still won. They've since added another ball handler in Sade Wiley-Gatewood. And Sylvia Hatchell told us she'll only worry about tonight's turnovers if the number approaches 40. And guys, I don't think she was kidding.
I wonder if she meant 40 in the first half. Larkins, that's why, folks, she's the leading offensive rebounder in the ACC. Back to the turnover story. We saw North Carolina play last week against Tennessee. Had 20 turnovers in the first half. And Rebecca reported from the locker room that Coach Hatchell said nothing about it at the break.
She actually came over to us prior to the game tonight and showed us a quote from Roy Williams. As you see, the turnover comparison for the number 2 and 3 ranked teams in the country, that stat is very low. Those numbers, unbelievable.
Tolliver with the loose ball left wide open. Halfway down and out, Langhorne and one.
Like her counterpart, Larkins, Langhorne is an outstanding offensive rebounder. She stands. She's a southpaw, so this is the strong side of the floor. Tolliver, a scoring mentality at the one guard position. Weak side, you don't check her out, and that's what Langhorne will give you.
Langhorne, the junior out of Willingboro, New Jersey, averaging 15 and 7 a game. Led the nation in field goal percentage a season ago, on pace perhaps to do again this year, tying the game at 6 apiece. And now a little half-court pressure from Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland goes into their 1-2-2 half-court trap. Just looking to mix things up. You want to change defenses, make Carolina think.
Ivory Latta has been a little bit conspicuous by her offensive silence so far, albeit very early in the ball game still. Good ball movement, but Pringle couldn't cash it in. And Coleman comes up with a loose ball. Durant on the baseline, an open look. Laura Harper battling underneath. And she's fouled by McCants. That's the team's second foul and the first on McCants.
Laura at 6'4" is the tallest player on the floor tonight, Mark. She's also got great ups, so she will come over your back or look like she's coming over your back and still be able to get the rebound.
Harper comes out of the ball game. Jade Perry checks in. Durant to the cup. Maryland with an extra possession here, and Tolliver walked with it. Tolliver, she's one person that respects the officials' decisions. She's the daughter of an NBA official. Brenda Freese, the leader of the pack.
Let's go! Let's go! Attack! Attack!
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Orbitz.com. Next time, just Orbitz and go. And NB Zip. Energy in, energy out.
And the score tied at 6. Game being enjoyed by 17,950 fans. The biggest crowd to ever watch a women's basketball game in ACC's history. How will the crowd affect the game? Well, a few players on each team told me they were not able to sleep last night. Not surprisingly, Ivory Latta told me the crowd will pump her up. She said she will be going bananas on the floor. She said this is the kind of environment you live for. It can be summed up by Maryland's Jade Perry. She said last night she was like a little Christmas Eve. She could not wait for today to come.
Yeah, Rebecca, great stuff. And Maryland has experienced some of the biggest crowds in ACC history. That's the good news. The bad news is, Doris, they haven't always responded positively to the home crowd.
This is the 5th time they've had the largest crowd. They've lost all 4 previous games going back to 1992.
Last year they lost one against Duke here in front of a big crowd. Here's Miller in the ball game for North Carolina, and she promptly throws it away.
Cross-court passes with this mark is tough to complete. There's too much speed all over the floor.
Got to be careful with players getting in the passing lanes tonight. Latta launching. Larkins with those strong hands pulls down the rebound. Little. Larkins facing up. Double team not coming this time, and Larkins took it to the basket and got fouled by Jade Perry. She'll get a pair at the free throw line.
Don't let Erlena Larkins' frame fool you. She's got some of the widest shoulders and incredibly nimble, Mark. She likes the face-up game, one of the better passing posts in the country.
I had a chance to speak with Latta earlier today at the shoot-around, asking about what happens when they start really turning up the defense on you. She said, hey, I got the deuce in the middle. I got number 2 on my side, referring to Larkins. Well, women's college basketball action continuing tomorrow at 7. Number 7, Ohio State taking on number 13, Purdue. Big Monday, presented by Bud Light on ESPN2. Davenport with another strong season for the Lady Buckeyes.
The Big Ten, very solid basketball teams. Katie Gerald's a senior guard. She could play all over the floor, plays point, 2, and 3 for Purdue, and they're off to an undefeated start in the Big Ten. That should be an interesting one.
From outside, Ashley Newman and Latta appear to have gotten hit. Out of bounds, it'll be Maryland basketball.
Smart, though, Mark. She doesn't try to make a pass because she understands she's... So if you make a mistake, it's a bucket.
Coleman on the drive. Tolliver and Latta. That's going to be one of the intriguing matchups and storylines throughout the course of this night. And Tolliver turned it over. Little on the move. And an uncontested layup with the left hand. It's 9-6 for North Carolina. They come in 22-0 on the season.
Now they switch up. Trapp is looking to get happen mark right over half court. Got to be careful.
Harper a little bit strong. Langhorne is fouled underneath on the putback attempt. And she earns a trip to the free throw line. That goes against McCants, her second.
This started with great ball pressure. It allows McCants to get in the passing lane, and Little will run the floor incredibly well. Great speed in all 5 spots for Carolina.
That's the real kind of dilemma if you're Maryland, is that North Carolina, Doris, has, I think, an unparalleled amount of speed and length. That combination has been lethal this year for them in their 22 victories.
Well, it's interesting. They mirror their men's basketball team. Sylvia Hatchell grew up in North Carolina, a huge Dean Smith fan, looks for 100 possessions a game. So do the men's team. Great athletes they look to recruit who are highly skilled, post players who beat other posts or guards down the floor. So if you've seen Carolina men, you can bet the style is exactly the same as the women.
There's Latta, free from 3, got it. Ivory Latta recently eclipsing the 2,000-point career. Carolina 5-point advantage.
They put Camille Little out front of this defense, Mark. 6'1", really long arms, and here's where they look to trap.
Harper, a sweeping move. Langhorne cleaning up the mess. Crystal Langhorne doing a nice job on the offensive glass tonight, cutting the lead to 3. Latta getting free again. Christy Tolliver's dad prior to the game said that he issued a pretty good scouting report to his daughter saying, sit on Latta's right hand. She likes to go right a lot. That ball out of bounds. It'll come back the other way to Maryland.
Now Carolina looking to extend. Yeah, not a bad luxury to have, a former NBA official who can coach you a little bit.
Well, how many players get a chance to grow up in the shadows of the dream team with people like Jason Kidd and Kevin Johnson, as Christy Tolliver did back? Off the miss, Maryland basketball. Riley Gatewood is checked into the ball game, the transfer from Tennessee. She gives them a little bit more ball handling ability, doesn't she?
Yeah, with Duran out, she gives them a ball handler. She also gives them an excellent defender, Mark.
Launching, and you talk about being off. Wiley Gatewood hit the side of the backboard. This is not her first rodeo. She played a couple of years at Tennessee and averaged about 9 points a game halfway through her sophomore season, deciding to transfer.
And that's an aberration. I mean, Wiley Gatewood thus far 43% from three. So for her to be that far off.
Latta on the wing. Little to the bucket. Might have forced that one up just a little bit. Pringle underneath. No reset on the shot clock. They've got 5 seconds on the shot clock. And an offensive foul against Pringle.
Player who's frustrated. You can see the disgust on her face. Now clearly it is up to her teammates, Mark, to become a passing option for her. They've got to get in her line of vision.
Well, that was her second personal foul. Lead still at 3 for North Carolina. Now the Tar Heels extend that defense to three-quarter court, almost full court here.
This is where they face guard, Mark. Try to deny the basketball.
Little moving her feet well. Dee Kantner says, nope, it hit off me, but it's still Maryland basketball.
Yeah, she is part of the play, Mark. So if it hits off her, it's just a continuation. Dee Kantner, one of the best officials in the women's game, she's trying to, clue those two players in, saying, hey, keep playing.
Austin Newton and Lisa Mattingly joining her as our officiating crew tonight. Christy Tolliver running the show offensively. The other part of that scouting report that her dad issued to her was, hey, don't get so caught up in running plays. This is the type of game where you have to make plays. And that's going to be a traveling violation against Maryland. Let's go courtside to Rebecca for more on George Tolliver and Christy Tolliver.
Well, Mark, George Tolliver definitely knows what he's talking about. He watches DVDs on every team Maryland plays. Before every game, Christy calls her dad. He gives her the Cliff Notes version of what she should do. You've given 2 of the 3 main points. The third one, he told her, don't go for pump fakes and get into early foul trouble. She's listened to him on pretty much every count so far.
Well, the point Mark just made, Rebecca, about making plays, that is how Duke Maryland. Lindsey Harding was willing to make plays off the dribble drive, the ball screens. That's why they won.
And Tolliver looking at the official, Lawson Newton, saying, hey, my jersey was being grabbed. She ought to know the tricks of the trade. She grew up in the shadows of hoops. Back after this.
It's time for the Terrapins.
Number 2 leading number 3 by 3 points. And folks, on Wednesday, it's a season of freshman giants coming up Wednesday. It was amazing to see Greg Oden shoot left-handed free throws again and go, I think, 11 for 13 from the free throw line last night. Well, turnovers, as Rebecca reported, are going to be part of the stories coming into this ball game. And Maryland already, Doris, with 9 in the game.
Yeah, and some of the things you have to be aware of. When you're making passes, you've got to be solid, Mark, because the athletes from Carolina cheat up into passing lanes incredibly well. They're number 1 in the country, over 16 steals per game. This is a team that feeds on the ability to guard you and get you to make mistakes.
Let's look at the points off of turnovers as well. Maryland really riding the success of Crystal Langhorne offensively. On the defensive end right here, Little up and over Marissa Coleman for the hoop.
That's what you call making plays, because the defense was pretty good. That's just a very good athlete elevating over Marissa Coleman.
Wiley Gatewood out top. Inside to Jade Perry. Wide open Langhorne from the free throw line. And it's one and done this time at the offensive end for Maryland. Latta. Ivory Latta looking more and more like her old explosive self. Remember, she had off-season knee surgery back in April. Wasn't able to work out until July. Cross court to Alex Miller. That was way off the mark, and there's a foul on the rebound. Rebecca Lobo, what did Brenda Fries have to say during the last break?
Mark, she looked at her team and said, don't be scared. We look scared. We're all standing. We're not going to get a foul called like that. We have to square up and go off the dribble. Then we will get the foul calls.
All right, Rebecca, that last foul against Marissa Coleman, that's the team's second foul. Little underneath. and got it to fall.
Really good play. So many times defenses fall asleep, Mark, on the player who inbounds the basketball. They just step right into the gap and an easy deuce.
Coleman drives it into the paint for Maryland. Missing from point-blank range with the rebound for North Carolina.
At least she made an assertive move. Just what Rebecca was talking about. Don't be scared. Let's attack.
That's going to be a foul against Wiley Gatewood. Little with 8 points for North Carolina, the leading scorer in the ball game. And it's a double dip tomorrow on ESPN starting at 7 Eastern. Number 9 Pitt tries to hold on to the top of the Big East as they take on Villanova. Then at 9, Kansas battles Nebraska. All on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light on ESPN and available on ESPN. Interesting to see how Jay Wright's crew bounces back to that disheartening loss last night at Notre Dame.
Well, it's a team that's got some solid wins. You think about what they did to Texas, so there is some potential there. We'd like to make sure Curtis Sumter is healthy because they're a much different basketball team when he's able to be himself.
Hey, what about this, Doris? A 9-point lead, biggest of the game for North Carolina, now in the midst of a 9-2 run.
Well, you remember what we said in the 4 previous times where there's been a huge crowd for Maryland, they've lost. There's when you've got this many people pulling for you.
No doubt a factor so far. A little disconcerted offensively. Brenda Friese kind of warning her team about what might transpire during that last inbound play. Listen up.
Hey, watch her stepping in! Watch her stepping in!
I guess the team didn't have the microphone that we did, huh? They should have listened. Langhorne underneath, had it knocked away. Quick hand. And here's Latta. Tolliver staying right with her. Larkins pulling her way underneath, and that's going to be a jump ball. The possession arrow in favor of North Carolina.
You can see Brenda Friese, I'm sure, asking about that non-call down the other end. But if you sit on Langhorne's left hand, Mark, good things are going to happen. And Larkins played with her 2 seasons ago in USA Basketball. These two players very familiar with one another.
Back out to McFarland. 9.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Battle between number 2 and number 3. The top 2 scoring teams in women's college basketball. Hey, Larkins can step out. You got to get a hand up.
Highly skilled, Mark. Back to the basket or face-up skills. And again, you look at the frame. You don't think she should be one of the fastest players on the floor, but this is a young lady who's multi-skilled, multifaceted offensively. Excellent passer, can shoot the jump shot.
It's funny you bring up those skills of hers because, let's face it, Ivory Latta, as effusive and as bubbly and excitable as she is, she gets a lot of the hype. But Larkins, you know, you look at a lot of the scouting reports, she's the one that most of the teams really gear up for.
Well, in their last matchup, they play a Clemson team who goes soft 2-3 because they're trying to take away the potent inside play of Erlana Larkins. And I'll tell you this about Larkins. She's unselfish, Mark. She's not a black hole. When you enter the ball into the post and there's a double, or maybe she feels like she's not going to be effective, she's going to release. You can expect if you're open and you're on the perimeter, she's going to make the pass.
We'll see what Brenda Friese does coming out of this timeout. Her team down by 11. And North Carolina in the midst of an 11-2 run. Take the ball out of Tolliver's hands on the double team. Langhorne's got to start making that shot. It's been available to her. Harper couldn't corral the rebound. Shot no good underneath, and Little comes out with it. In transition, Latta. Boy, Carolina really going after it, but that foul that time. That one's against McFarland. That's her first personal foul. 6-team foul against North Carolina.
See the pink suit of Sylvia Hatchell. That is in honor of the Hoops for Hope. Women's college basketball looking to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. That is why Sylvia chooses the pink suit.
And Duran knocks it down from the baseline, breaking that drought. But still, they trail by 9 with 8.5 to go in the first. Miller. Larkins lost the handle. Those strong meat cleaver hands of hers, you don't see that happen often. We're here at Colt Fieldhouse. Another turnover by Maryland. That has been one of the themes so far in the early part of the game. It's number 2 against number 3. North Carolina against Maryland. I'm Mark Jones along with Doris Burke and Rebecca Lobo in front of the most people have ever watched an ACC women's college basketball game.
Sensing some frustration from Christy Tolliver. She was upset that they gave up another offensive board.
Latta inside to Little. Oh, she had a mouse house. The shorter Duran had her back down, but now steps out with 6 on the shot clock. This time takes advantage of the mismatch and is fouled in the process. That's the first personal foul against Duran. Camille Little for North Carolina, playing real large when we come back. This game is being broadcast on ESPN2 HD, presented by Olivia. Back here at the Comcast Center on the campus of the University of Maryland, a few members of the men's team showing their support. I was expecting to see Gary Williams run out with his shirt off, a la Bruce Pearl. Is that too much to ask, Doris? Back-to-back weeks?
Pearl is the only coach in the country who'd do that, I think.
Brenda Freese and Gary Williams probably couldn't cut the deal. And right now, Brenda Freese looking to press the right button, get her team untracked, especially at the offensive end, shooting just 21%. As we take a look at our stat track, Little missing the first of 2. North Carolina shooting just 36%, and Maryland with more turnovers than Carolina, which I think is a bit of a surprise. And North Carolina able to convert on some of those turnovers. Little making the second, a 65% free throw shooter on the season, as Clater comes into the ball game for North Carolina.
She's their designated shooter, Mark. Her job is to shoot threes. I think a couple things going into those stats, Mark. There's a lot at stake here for these teams. Maryland cannot afford to drop 2 games behind in the ACC standings, because you're talking about #1 seeds in the ACC tournament. You do not want to have to get on that soft side of the bracket where you're facing the 2 and 3 seeds. It's a tough go.
Off the turnover, yet another turnover. Miller on the fast break. And Duran with the rebound up to Tolliver. North Carolina good in transition defense, getting back. Tolliver off the mark. Harper with the putback.
She's been disappointed with her rebounding. She's 6'4". She's 3rd on the team at 6 per game. She can do better than that.
We saw a glimpse of that in last year's Final Four, where she arguably was one of their best players. Clater, you said, comes in to shoot 3s. Sometimes she shoots 4s, Doris. That was almost a 4.
She's out there, Ben, and she's as good a shooter as you'll find in limited minutes.
Coleman from the baseline. Wasn't pretty. She shakes her head, but she'll take it anyway. Coleman on the scoreboard. Pace of this game picking up over the last minute and a half, coming out of that last break. Good feed inside. Pringle. And Pringle had an auspicious roll.
Nice job by Larkins. She's so patient on the catch in the box. So she's just going to turn around and see the floor, see where she can go.
Harper had a good look at it. Carolina constantly pushing that pace. You will never see them walk it up, but you will see a lot of that. Butter, Ivory Latta, and that's the type of play that really launches them into another stratosphere.
Yeah, and what you're seeing is Alex Miller is now in the game, which allows Ivory to slide off the basketball, more shots.
Tolliver trying to get a little get back, but couldn't. Miller and Latta, quick backcourt for Carolina. Miller missing the layup.
That's the only downside of Alex Miller's game. She could start in a lot of programs. Sometimes she plays too fast and her decisions are not great. That was a case in point.
A nervous chorus of cheers coming from the crowd here at Maryland as Perry fires and knocks it down.
This is a young lady who comes off the bench, plays her role, can make shots. Really good touch.
Off the miss, it's Harper. Ivory Latta sharing a few words with the official, Lawson Newton. Coleman with the pull-up. Got it.
The ACC Rookie of the Year going to force a timeout. Got great size, Mark, at that 3 spot and versatile skills.
Sylvia Hatchell going to talk it over, and boy, she got right up in the grill of her player, Alex Miller. One more look at the last hoop by Coleman.
Well, you can see Latta, who got up the floor slow, did not really react well as she gets out tight, over closes on that closeout mark. It allows Coleman to use the bounce, get into the heart of the paint, and at 6'1", she'll get up and over a lot of people.
See Brenda Freese exhorting her team on there. You spoke of Coleman. And the fact that this year, coming off the ACC Rookie of the Year honor, Doris, she passed up an opportunity to play with USA Basketball, an international team, and decided to stay here on campus and work out. And as good a season as she had last year, I find it kind of surprising and interesting that Deborah Fries said that she's one of our most improved players this year.
Yeah, well, she was a very good, skilled basketball player. She was not the best conditioned athlete for Maryland, and that's what she focused on, getting stronger.
McCants from downtown. Larkins with yet another offensive rebound, fouled on the ground. Women's college basketball action continues tomorrow at 7 Eastern. Ohio State taking on Purdue, number 7 against number 13. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN2 as Jessica Davenport in their last run on Thursday against Indiana, a 10-point victory. Davenport with their typical strong night, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 hijacks, 4 blocks. Inside to McCants, working over and around Harper. Interesting little post-up move that time that worked.
Well, they will invert their guards. Little now goes and plays on the 3. They can invert her, and McCants is an excellent athlete. You know her brother Rashad McCants now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Excellent post shooter, but she's got size and back to the basket skills.
Coleman working against Clater. Off the mark, right into the hands of Crystal Langhorne. Langhorne now with 10 points in the game. 10-point lead for North Carolina, who led for most of this game. Inside, Little was looking for the foul call, won't get it. Out of bounds, and a chance now for the Terps to cut this lead below double figures.
The defense is doing the job. It feels like, Mark, we've seen a lot of tough shots taken. Remember what Christy Tolliver's father told her, you're going to have to make plays. Forget about running plays, make plays. This is the kind of game where that has to happen.
Well, the adage says, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Foul against Slater of North Carolina. Brenda Fries talked to a bunch of people on how to handle the success of a national championship year. Ivory Latta trying to bring a championship to Tar Heel country. We'll be right back after this.
Dave Revson in the studio. Coming up at the half, we're watching number 2 versus number 3 here. We'll show you the highlights of number 4, the Lady Vols, in action earlier today. Kara Lawson, Stacey Dales will join me. They will tell us the most influential players in the nation. And Tiger Woods looks to keep his remarkable streak alive. That's coming up at the half. Mark.
This is Shea Duran at the line for
Terps down by 10 against North Carolina. 3:50 to go here in the first half. Shea Duran at the free throw line knocks down the first of a pair. Well, Brenda Fries had an opportunity during the offseason to speak with Billy Donovan, the head coach at the University of Florida, and some other people like Kim Mulkey, who won the national championship last year. It was interesting, some of the tidbits that she picked up and how to handle the onslaught of the whole celebrity in the wake of a championship.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a great point to make because both teams returned so much from their national title team. And one of the things he told her is, number one, stick with what worked for you. She had 3 top 10 recruiting classes. You want to know how she won a national championship? She went out and got the best players in America. The other thing he talked to her about was distractions, making sure you try to limit those, be able to say no when you want to.
substitution number 11.
And for more on the recruiting aspect, here's Rebecca.
Well, how about this past week for Coach Fries? They played Sunday. She spent Monday and Tuesday recruiting in Texas and Nevada, took the red-eye home, landed Wednesday morning. The team practiced Wednesday afternoon, then they all got a flight out on Wednesday night to Clemson for the game on Thursday. Tomorrow morning, she's back on the road. Doris, she might be on your flight. She's flying into Rhode Island.
I like that. There's some players now at Rhode Island.
At
Providence
7
women.
a.m.
Yeah, that's right.
An unrelenting and unremitting, tireless recruiter. And it's paid off over the last 4 years especially. The lead down to 7 points on those trips to the free throw line. Maryland now countering with a 9-2 run. Little out top. Carolina a little stagnant on this offensive possession.
Yeah, this is a problem in their motion offense. This is one area that Sylvia asked them to improve. And look at this trouble.
Latta tied up. It'll be Maryland basketball.
The worst thing you can do as an offensive team, you can see the disgust on her face, is stand and watch a dribbler, and that's exactly what's happening for Carolina. This is a team that likes to flourish in the open floor, so when you make Carolina execute in half-court offense, they're much less dangerous.
Latta got picked off by a screen to free up Tolliver. Here's Duran rolling into the paint. Body strewn across the lane, and no whistle, and cleared by Carolina. Here comes Miller.
I like the no call by Decanter. Advantage, disadvantage.
Well, there was a reason why McFarland was left wide open. You saw exactly why. Good ball movement. Coleman from downtown. And Miller with the rebound.
She was 47% from 3 last year, Marissa Coleman. That number has come back a bit this season.
Check out Ivory Latta during this half-court set as Little takes it into heavy traffic and had it blocked. The pace now, Doris, pretty much what we expected earlier on, isn't it?
Yeah, both teams like to open up the floor, get up and down, get as many possessions as they can.
They take the ball out of Tolliver's hand on the double team. They rotate Langhorn, slapped away. 10 on the shot clock, plenty of time for Harper. Knocked out of bounds. Maryland basketball with 6 on the shot clock as Wiley Gatewood comes into the ball game for Maryland. North Carolina's biggest lead of the game was at 14 points. It's been reduced to 7 now with just under 2 minutes to play in the half. Tolliver wide open. She won't miss many of those.
Boy, they continue to get offensive rebounds. Both teams doing an excellent job getting second chance opportunities.
And here's Larkin. A 2-on-1 with Latta. And Ivory Latta with the left hand.
How about that? That's your power forward stepping up, making a pass. She looked like Charles Barkley in that play.
Little role reversal that worked. Lead back up to 9. That time Larkin's going to be nabbed for the foul on Harper coming over the back.
She's your power forward, Mark, but she's nimble of feet. Look at this. Great ball pressure allows a turnover to happen. Tolliver can't handle the pass. Look at her cross over the defender and nice bounce pass. That was pretty.
You say that's a power forward. I would say she has a power steering with that kind of handle. Power brakes, too. Harper at the free throw line. A 72% foul shooter on the season, missing. Ivory Latta, when you look at her shot distribution, 57% of her field goal attempts this year, Doris. I find that very startling. Are three-pointers. Little fires away this time, and they couldn't get it back.
You wonder, Mark, does that have to do with the knee injury she suffered last year in the Final Four?
Tolliver still can't find it from downtown. It's out of bounds, Maryland basketball.
You think about Ivory Latta's off-season. It was drastically different than what her normal routine is. She has surgery after the Final Four. She cannot get in the gym like she normally does for 4 and 5 hours every single day in the off-season. Preseason conditioning was not there. It's taken a while. Why is Ivory Latta not at the level she was a year ago? That injury is why.
Good point. Tolliver trying another 3. This one falls.
Yeah. There's a reason percentages are accurate. She's 50% from out there. She can stick it.
Now
Great shooter.
sorry, Doris. Now 1 for 6 from the field. The lead down to 6 points. Miller into the paint. Threw up a wild one that missed. And Tolliver comes out of the back. Brenda Freese on the court, protesting for a foul.
And that's Decanter. I think she's going to tee her from the baseline. I think she's going to come up and tee Brenda Freese. Lawson Newton was willing to sit there and take it. And now
Did he ever?
Yeah, he took it.
I mean, Brenda Freese was at least 4 or 5 feet onto the court. She may have wanted that one. As Latta knocks down the technical foul.
Well, remember, what is one of the points of emphasis in women's college basketball? Bench decorum. She should be careful here, boy. She keeps working it. She might get another one and be out of here. Bench decorum is something these officials are watching.
She's saying right there that Christy Tolliver got hacked several times, trying to dribble out of the maze of defenders.
I think if you're going to follow the points of emphasis, he was willing to listen to it. Dee Cantner was all the way down at the baseline.
Good point.
She wanted to make a point to Brenda. This is supposed to be important in women's college basketball.
Still giving it to him, too.
They flatten things out here for Tolliver. Expect a high ball screen at some point.
The lead is 8. Oliver connecting on her last three-point attempt.
Yeah, here it comes. There it is.
Coleman on the baseline, 3 on the clock, and they won't get a field goal attempt off. North Carolina staying home defensively, doing a nice job. 7.6 in the half, and Claytor comes into the ball game. She's one of their best three-point shooters.
This is an interesting situation for Maryland. It's their lowest output in a half mark. They have also, for the most part, decided games before the halftime was out, so they're in for a good second half.
Ivory Latta with the floater. And that's the end of the first half of play. It comes to a close at 35-27, and a chorus of boos showering down on the officials. This is the lowest point total for Maryland in a half this year as we go to Rebecca. Rebecca?
Coach, down 14 midway through the first half. Offense started going mostly last 6 minutes of the half. What was the difference for you?
I think we got a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, with their pressure, we've got to be able to take it hard to the basket. We got second chance opportunities on the glass.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
All right, Rebecca, and Brenda Fries and her team made a little bit of a run before the technical foul situation there at the end of the first half. The lowest point total of the season so far for Maryland at 27 points. Carolina leading, trying to avenge their last loss against Carolina. Right now, Dave Revson in the studio with the halftime report.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, a little bit lower scoring first half certainly than we expected. Dave Revson here alongside Kara Lawson and Stacey Dales, and we saw Brenda Fries on the way out, maybe cooled down just a little bit, Stacey, but what did you think of the timing of that technical?
Well, with all due respect, I don't think the timing was very good for her team. You have a chance to move within 3 or 4 points at the half and carry some momentum on your home court. Not a good time for a technical, but I love the fact that she stands up for her players.
Yeah, I think a lot of times technicals can be momentum builders for a team, but there I think it was a momentum killer for Maryland.
The technical foul aside, what did you take from the first half, Kara?
Well, I think started off, you look at Carolina's aggression, what they were able to do to really dismantle the Maryland offense, and I don't think Maryland matched that early in that first half. They turned the tide and began to attack the basket, and I think you have to want the ball. You have to attack Carolina. They're going to attack you on the defensive end. You must attack them on the offensive end.
And I felt for Maryland, they weren't efficient offensively. We're talking about the most efficient team in America, scoring 53-point field goal percentage. They turned the ball over 14 times in this game. That's too many. And I'll tell you what, folks, 5 of those turnovers were in the backcourt. We can't have that against the North Carolina team as fast as they are. There you see one of the turnovers. And what you do, folks, when you turn the ball over and when you allow them to force you into bad shots, they leak out at the other end, and then you're playing catch-up defensively. Maryland is criticized for its defense, but ironically, in order to have a good defense, you have to be efficient offensively.
Yeah, it certainly shows up in the numbers here, as we were alluding to, a team that averages about 88 points per game, just 27 here in the first half for the Terps. They find themselves down by 8. We've got lots more coming up on our halftime report, including the rest of the day's action. The Lady Vols, Candace Parker, would she throw down in this one? Plus, Kara and Stacey hand out some awards. That's coming up next on our halftime report.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
A rematch of last year's national semifinal, won, of course, by Maryland, which went on to win the national title 35-27. So the Tar Heels on their way, perhaps, to getting a little revenge. Tennessee and Alabama Lady Vols just 6 days removed from their loss to #1 Duke. Shannon Bobbitt and Alexis Hornbuckle there. And now more from Shannon Bobbitt, Stacey.
Yeah, she had 6 three-pointers in this game. Somebody want to guard Shannon Bobbitt?
The ties for the second most ever by a Lady Vol. 20 points now. Candace Parker with a chance.
Throw it down. No. Candace was sick about a week ago. Okay, guys? Give her a break. She can't do everything.
Tennessee does win 80-51, 32nd straight win over Alabama. And there's certainly a consensus that Candace Parker will likely be the National Player of the Year. So we're not going to talk about that in terms of our awards. I want to differentiate a little bit. Most influential player who impacts their team the most. Who do you think it is, Kara?
Well, my most influential player, I look at the whole spectrum, and I go with Latta from North Carolina. And I go with the good and the bad. I think her energy, she influences her team and determines how good or bad Carolina plays and with how much emotion. So I go with her. I think she was the most influential player last year, and I think she gets that honor again this year.
And for me, the most influential player, I think the best player, most talented player is Candace Parker. But for me, Kara, the most influential player has got to be Lindsey Harding. This team is undefeated in the best conference in America. You lose Misty Williams, you lose Jess Foley, you lose Monique Curry. What is Duke going to be? Duke is going to be whatever Lindsey Harding paints on a canvas. She is unbelievable. She starts them defensively, starts them offensively. I love what she's done for Gail Gustencourse.
Duke and Harding back in action, trying to remain undefeated tomorrow night against Virginia Tech. How about your most influential defender, Kara?
Well, Lindsey Harding is coming home with 2 pieces of hardware. I go with her on the most influential
hardware for this?
influential defensive player. She is a tone setter for this team, and when you have a lockdown perimeter defender, and in my opinion, Lindsey Harding, the best perimeter defender in the country, that sets the tone for the rest of your team, and it allows players behind you to make plays. I love the aggression with which she plays with, and the fact that she can take over a game on the defensive end as well as the offensive.
Well, you know, I got to say, we were sitting in here a week ago wondering who the second best team in the SEC was, and we were wondering if it was Ole Miss. When in the world were we talking about Mississippi? Well, we were talking about them because of this young lady right here, our Minty Price. She is going to be an unbelievable WNBA player. 4 steals a game, folks. One of the reasons Ole Miss is so good is because they force 24 turnovers a game. She's a big reason. I have another one. Allie Bales. Are you kidding me? Lindsey Harding starts it on the perimeter, but Allie Bales blocks 5 shots in the game. She's the best in the country, and at 6'7", she can float around there anywhere inside the paint.
Those 5 blocks more than 90% of the teams in the country get per game combined. So it gives you a sense of just how good Bales is. How about your most influential newcomer?
No, I go with Sharday Wiley-Gatewood here for this Maryland team, and I think it's because of her impact that she has, in particular on Christy Tolliver. It allows Maryland to play that 2-point guard system. You can cut down on turnovers, although they're not showing it tonight. But more importantly, Christy Tolliver becomes more of a scorer. She's now catching the ball in scoring territory instead of being, as a point guard, getting it into scoring territory.
Yeah, I love that point, Kara. For me, I have to pick Shannon Bobbitt for Tennessee. And the reason, again, you talk about a player in Shannon Bobbitt and what she can do on the court, and she doesn't score a whole lot of points, doesn't have huge numbers, but what she's done, look at the recipient. That's Alexis Hornbuckle. She has allowed Alexis Hornbuckle to move to her natural position on the wing, become that defender, become that rebounder. She's made everybody around her better, the addition of Shannon Bobbitt.
Last year's National Junior College Player of the Year, making a huge impact on the Lady Vols. And speaking of impacts, of course, that's what Ivory Latta does every time she steps on the court, making an impact here for North Carolina as the Tar Heels are on top 35-27. It's 2 versus 3. More of our halftime next.
Welcome back, everyone, to College Park, Maryland. Number 2 North Carolina up by 8 against number 3 Maryland. The last time these two teams met was the national semifinal, and Maryland won by 11 points. Well, we have Brenda Fries, the head coach of the Terps, wired for sound. Her voice intoning passionately in the locker room a few moments ago.
I mean, we got to start understanding the strategy. They're playing into our hands. You couldn't ask for better shots. Do what you do best. All right, Crystal Langhorne, that means take it to the block, or that means post up, be aggressive. Do what you do best. If you have to take a shot that you're aiming, you don't feel good about, your feet aren't set, don't take the shot in the second half. But I'll tell you, you got to have the courage to step up and shoot the ball with confidence on the offensive end.
Well, it's interesting, Doris, when you talk about the success of Maryland, some words ring ominously true by Maryland's Brenda Fries. She told us earlier that despite our success, we're a young team. We still sometimes need to learn how to react to adversity and conflict. They have to do that right now.
They do. Only one senior in Shea Duran, so that championship experience. This is playing out a little differently than we expected from the number 1 and number 2 scoring teams in the country. Sometimes in conference, Mark, you're so used to playing against one another that there's familiarity. You know the opponent's sets, you know their strengths and weaknesses, you know their style. And I thought Brenda's points were well taken, Mark. You need to be assertive. Carolina looks to intimidate you with their athleticism and speed. And if you play soft, you're playing right into their hands.
That's what they do. McCants going inside. They repost it to Larkins. Around Harper for the bucket. That's what they do as well, up to a 10-point lead.
They're a better basketball team when they initiate their offense through Erlana Larkins.
Harper couldn't get the handle inside, and Rebecca Lobo, what'd you hear at halftime?
Well, Sylvia Hatchell has to be happy with that last possession. She said we need to get inside and shoot some foul shots. One word, rebounding. Half of Maryland's points came from the offensive glass. I asked Brenda Fries about the technical. I said, were you just upset with the call? She said, I was upset with the first 20 minutes, all the slapping going on. I don't want this game to last 3 hours.
Well, Ivory Latta, Rebecca just knocked down a 3-ball and then looked directly at Lamont Jordan, courtside, a supporter for Maryland, as if to say, how'd you like that 3? Off the mark by Harper. And we have a violation underneath. A foul against North Carolina's Latoya Pringle. I mentioned Lamont Jordan. He is an ardent supporter of this Maryland program. Going back to when he actually was in school here, the former running back for the Terps, now with the Oakland Raiders.
Puts his money where his mouth is.
Sure
Not
does.
just showing up at games, Mark. Cash value, $25,000 he donated to the program.
He has driven to various ACC tournaments to watch them play. Went to the national championship game last year. Coleman off the mark. Latta looking to make a move. North Carolina leading by 13 points and coming out of the locker room with fire.
Good weak side check out by Harper. Boy, that's persistence.
Tolliver up to Langhorne. That's going to be a tripping foul against North Carolina.
Boy, Laura Harper was the most outstanding player of the Final Four, Mark, and she is just an excellent rebounder at 6'4".
Rolled her way to the glass that time. Good block out at the defensive end. Meanwhile, Doris, that was the 4th personal foul against McCants. And she'll come out of the ballgame.
Well, this is what I was talking about. You have got an outstanding rebounder. In fact, the leading rebounder in the ACC in Erlana Larkins. It takes discipline to check out that far mark to 12, 15 feet. You got to keep a body on. Laura Harper, outstanding.
A couple of years ago, Harper missed the season because of a ruptured Achilles tendon, so it's been a long road back for her, but she was arguably one of their top 2 players in the Final Four last year. Langhorne, after the foul shot, with 12 points now. Latta out top. Little into the lane and a sweeping left-handed move.
This is a player who, when she entered North Carolina, was a post, played all back to the basket, worked really hard, Mark, to develop that face-up ability. 6'1", has tightened her handle, understands how to get to the rim.
They're on cross court. And Coleman knocks down the 3-ball. Lead back to 10 points. Tolliver staying right in front of Latta defensively. Larkins, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
Laura Harper steps in. You've got to understand the strengths of the player you're going against. Harper, 2 straight plays on the defensive end that have made a difference. Just beats Larkins to the spot. Brenda Fries told her players this morning, guys, I want you to take a flop at some time tonight because this is a team that will plow into you offensively. Good sell, good defense.
And already, Doris, 3 quick team fouls against Carolina to start the second half.
Well, I thought your point you just made moments ago, Mark, about the youth of Maryland. They were not able to respond. When Duke threw the haymaker early, they couldn't respond. Carolina threw one. Can they respond here?
Tolliver turned it over, and Carolina comes up with it. Christy Tolliver struggling a little bit tonight in this game. Little on the wing. They look inside with Larkins. That's where everything kind of starts with Carolina. That was a clinic in face-up play. A clinic.
How good is that? Last time she got a charge, better body control on that drive, Mark. And the patience. She is so patient, Larkins.
And back quickly the other way at Ashley Newman with the corner 3.
You mentioned the depth of both teams when we started this telecast. Ashley Newman is an outstanding shooter, can go off the bounce, gives them great support offensively.
All of their top 8 players at one point this season has led them in scoring. And Ivory Latta says 3 and puts a finger over her lips and says, keep it down. A 12-point lead after that 3. Ivory Latta starting to percolate a little bit, trying to draw the foul. But it goes against the diminutive, imperious, dynamic player.
Well, Camille Little, see the double screen on the block is what freed up the shooter. That's communication, or lack thereof, if you're Maryland. And I'll tell you what, if she's on your team, you love her. And if she's not,
go ahead now. Go ahead. Well, she was warned in their last game, a victory against North Carolina a week ago, by an official after telling the crowd, come on, get up, make some noise. I understand the spirit of some of the rules that they make as Tolliver misses, but at some point, I don't think it's correct or proper to legislate emotion out of the game. Latta again, straight butter. She's making noise with her jump shot.
That's ridiculous. The crossover special.
She is feeling her groove right now. And she has that kind of star power, that kind of jump shot. No wonder rap star Ludacris wants to come to all her games. Here's Coleman. Good block out. And Larkins is fouled by Crystal Langhorne. Ivory Latta with a timeout on the floor. Is she in a groove right now? Oh, you got it. Well, if you didn't think that Ivory Latta was back, you better ask somebody. You know for sure now that she is. Coming off of knee surgery last April, there were questions about her conditioning. Had a chance to speak with her before the game. She said that the nutritionist, the team nutritionist and strength coach, said that she's at 138 pounds right now. Last year she played at 136. She did a little bit of lifting during the offseason. She feels a lot stronger. Maybe not quite as quick as she was at this point last year, but surely rounding into form.
Well, Mark, clearly she had gained weight. Her off-season conditioning is typically grueling. 3 and 4 hours a day, shooting 300-plus three-pointers. She's the all-time 3 leader in Carolina's history. She got that way because she worked at it, Mark Jones.
Carolina with its biggest lead of the ball game at 15 points. Let's see if Maryland can respond here. 10 on the shot clock. Little on a nice backdoor cut for the layup.
See, Maryland trying to pick up the defensive pressure. You come out of a timeout, you're trying to make something happen. Great read by Little. Go backdoor. Somebody's denying you. The natural is head backdoor.
Lead is up to 17. Little with 13 points. Tough pass by Tolliver, mishandled by Harper. And another Terp turnover. Their 17th of the game, Doris.
Now that's an easier catch, Mark, if you take a dribble below the free throw line and enter it with a soft bounce pass.
Larkins. Boy, when she catches the ball, it snaps. Latta. Oh, call her IRS because she's taxing that defense right now.
They feed off her play, in particular the ability to drain threes. And yeah, Brenda Free's going to use one, and wisely so, Mark.
6 of 9 from downtown. You got to have a lot of love for Ivory Latta. Back after this.
What's up, John? Oh, sorry, Stan. I told Stuart I'd save that for him.
Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?
I'm sorry, I'm actually, no, go ahead.
Thank you.
Come on, a piñata.
Just beat that mule.
Okay. Hey, it's Bud Light.
It's a Bud Light piñata!
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Here, it's the cake.
It's a Bud Light cake!
It's time to play Take On Orbits. This week's winner is you. That's right, you.
Save $300 on select 7-night vacations to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Hawaii during the winter getaway sale. Just Orbits and go.
Always use protection.
eBay.
Carolina's lead swelling to 20 points. A flurry of threes by Ivory Latta.
She is starting to be in better condition. Physically, she looks drastically different than when she was on our air earlier this year. There is never a reason, Mark, where you should not be selling out. You see how that defender has to close out that far? This is the leading three-point shooter in the history of North Carolina. On top of that, Mark, because of the knee injury last year, she's not going to the free throw line as much. The dribble drive isn't there, so you need to be sitting next to her. You shade her side whether you're playing man or zone. It doesn't matter.
One more three-pointer will tie the school record for three-pointers in a game. Ivory Latta out of tiny McConnell, South Carolina. Has about 3 stoplights, although they did have an Ivory Latta day a couple of years ago back in McConnell. So an 11-0 run for North Carolina. And for more on Latta, let's go courtside to Rebecca.
Mark, I asked Ivory to compare her game from this year to last year. She said simply, I'm more mature. This year, I've focused on cutting down on turnovers. I'm less fancy. Her scoring's down 3 points a game, not getting to the free throw line as frequently, but she said that's because now when she gets into the lane, she's looking to pass more than to shoot. She's still attacking, but looking to pass to her open teammate.
All right, and Harper, meanwhile, with the bucket, cuts the lead down to 18, but she seems to have made the necessary changes to her game, Latta. Newman, good hustle, tipped it out of bounds. North Carolina basketball.
Brenda Frese was criticized for not having a great non-conference schedule. They did not really get tested at all pre-Duke. And so when Duke put the screws to them early, and Duke has a habit of doing that, they have gotten out to great starts, and regardless of the competition. Same thing is happening here. Now, can this team respond, Mark? They couldn't against Duke. They haven't yet against North Carolina.
Still plenty of basketball left, 14 minutes plus. Larkins claiming she was pushed underneath. It'll be Maryland basketball. 18-point lead, 14-16 to go, and this is the battle between two of the top teams in the country, number 2 and number 3, and the top 2 scoring teams in the nation. North Carolina comes in averaging almost 90 a game. Maryland, number 2 in the country, at 85. Langhorne out top. Galan off the screen, knocks it down.
They're capable offensively of making a push. A season ago, that was their specialty. In the national championship against Duke, they were down double digits and responded. They had a history of it. It's a little bit different season because the target's on their back.
Shea Duran with 8 points. Miller out top with 10 on the shot clock for Carolina. Inside turnaround by Breland, no good. And it's Maryland basketball. The lead below 20, which is a good thing for Brenda Frese.
Carolina straight up man-to-man. They have not had to come with a lot of that full court pressure, Mark, that 1-3-1 that is so good for them.
Boy, Larkins with those active hands. Boy, Ivory Latta.
She's conversing with Dee Kantner.
She'll have some running conversations with everybody in the building. I guess she's women's basketball's version of Sam Cassell, nonstop chatter.
Yes, that's right. Well, I liked your point. I think you were headed down that path earlier about the emotion and the reactions from players spontaneously. I think as long as it's not showing up your opponent, I've got no problem with the emotion.
Good point.
Candace Parker got technical earlier in the season for popping a jersey. How many times did we see Diana Taurasi do that?
Have to figure out the interpretation of that rule sometimes as Dee Kantner whistles a foul on Breland. Well, women's college basketball continuing tomorrow. 7 o'clock Eastern, featuring number 7 Ohio State and number 13 Purdue. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN2. And Jessica Davenport shooting a sizzling 64% from the field so far this year, Doris.
That's an experienced team, a well-coached team, and I love Brandy Hoskins, probably their best one-on-one player.
Wiley Gatewood into the paint and gets it to fall. Lead down to 14 points, just under 13 minutes to go.
Solid move. She brings him size, athleticism, 8 points per game off the bench for Wiley Gatewood.
Carolina can't afford to get too conservative and shut it down too early. A foul on the drive as Miller went to the cup. That's against Gatewood, her second personal foul.
Well, Mark, we saw that. We saw that with this Carolina team a couple of weeks back. They played Connecticut, had a double-digit lead. Looked like they were going to cruise control to the win. And Connecticut made it a ball game.
Pringle with a tough pull-up. That foul is going to go against Larkins over the back of Harper. That's her third personal foul.
And that's exactly the kind of play Harper makes. She talked about that at the Final Four when they were down double digits. She said, I was chest bumping people, trying to get their emotion up. That's what she's trying to do there.
Timeout on the floor. With 12:43 to go in the second half. A 14-point lead. Brenda Fries wired for sound. Let's listen up to some of what she had to say.
Those are great shots. Next one, get your legs under you. They're a little short. Great looks. You're doing a heck of a job. Everything, your hands got to be straight up. Make your shoot over, but that's a great shot. Flag! No more jump shots. Take it to the basket. Good job, White. Here we go.
She's
Boundless energy.
Yeah, she's incredibly positive, which with young people, Mark, is so important.
Great story here at Maryland in her fifth year, 35 years old. Spent a couple of years before that at Ball State, 1 year at Minnesota, and there's been a meteoric rise here since she took over. They started off 10-18 their first year, then 18-13, 22-10. Last season, an NCAA title. Pretty good formula, Doris.
Well, I'll tell you what, they were playing with house money in prior years, Mark Jones. Oh, tough pass to make against this team.
Turnover, and Larkins converts at the other end. They are lethal in transition. Get in the passing lanes, and Larkins went down hard to the court. Harper underneath gets the layup.
Good attack right there. If they score on you, go right back at them. I think Larkins is hurting a little bit.
She appeared to be holding her arm as she went down. Latta out top. And a nice steal that time by Ashley Newman. And Newman gets the layup. Here comes Maryland. The lead is down 12.
Ashley Newman, their best perimeter defender, and now the crowd trying to get into it.
Latta pulls it out with that escape dribble. Jump ball, and the possession arrow in favor of Maryland. They've turned up the defensive pressure on Carolina. Run now. The momentum beginning to swing back the other way. We'll be back.
Jump shot is good by Coleman. It's a one-point game. Tolliver looking for screen. She fires. Got it! Holy cow, what a shot! We'll go to overtime. Foley has to force it. No! Maryland's done it!
Interesting to note that in that championship game, they trailed by 13 points to come back and win. In this game right now, the deficit is 12 against North Carolina. And on cue, Tolliver's checked back into the ball game, but she was having a tough shooting night. 1 for 6 from the field and 5 turnovers.
Largest lead today was 20 by Carolina.
Harper. Langhorn battling, pulling underneath.
Now it's up to Carolina to answer, Mark.
Little against the smaller Wiley Gatewood. Actually, Newman called for the foul. 12-2 run for Maryland. That's Newman's first.
So Crystal Langhorn is an outstanding offensive rebounder. I don't know how many times throughout the course of her career we've seen her do that, and then the reaction.
Out of bounds. It's going to stay North Carolina basketball. We'll run it again.
The general thought a year ago, Mark, was that Brenda Fries' team was a year away from the national title. They surprised everybody by getting it done.
Still a very precocious group. They start just one senior. Miller into the paint. Larkins fouled on the attempt by Harper. Rebecca Lobo, what did the Maryland huddle have to say?
Well, earlier in the half, Brenda Freese looked at her team and said, the greatest thing about Carolina, you're always in the game. They'll turn the ball over for you. This last huddle, she looked at her team and said, that's what I'm talking about. We're chipping away one possession at a time.
They certainly are. Larkins at the free throw line. A 73% free throw shooter on the season.
Now that goes to a point our Kara Lawson made a week ago when we were talking about Carolina, and she talked about their strengths, and then she said if there's a weakness with Carolina, they can be too loose with the basketball. Now we've told you many times that Sylvia Haxel does not care about turnovers. They had 20 in the first half against Connecticut. She didn't talk about it, Mark, but there are times in championship basketball or in games where you must value possessions. I don't care the style you play.
11-point lead. Men's and women's teams of Carolina play pretty much the same way. That's something Coach Hatchell has constantly preached. Pace and tempo. In front of the largest crowd ever to witness an ACC women's basketball game here at the Comcast Center. Almost 19,000 on hand. I'm Mark Jones along with Doris Burke and Rebecca Lobo. Number 2 North Carolina has led number 3 Maryland for most of the game. The surge coming behind the hot shooting of Ivory Latta, their dynamic point guard, but Maryland now is making a move. Coleman rejected on the baseline, and Latta on the fast break. Missed the layup. She didn't seem to have that extra gear to pull away.
That's exactly right. That's one thing that's missing. She does not have that burst of speed, and you wonder if that's the lingering effect of the off-season surgery, the meniscus tear, the lack of preparation because she was hurt.
Off the inbound is Little. Have a whistle off the ball. And we're going to have a foul called against Maryland. And Laura Harper, that's her second personal foul.
North Carolina.
15 foul. Sorry, Doris.
No couple of free throw attempts was the first time in 5 possessions that Carolina hadn't turned it over. Let's see what they do here.
Throw it out top to Clater. They're trying to post up Little on the smaller Tolliver. But Tolliver gets help on this sequence. And Little fouled going to the bucket. That goes against Harper. That's her third now. With under 10 minutes to play here in the second half. Jade Perry getting set to check into the ball game for Laura Harper. Each team with 16 fouls, so both going to be in the shooting situation next. Later goes inside to Little. No mismatch this time. From downtown, Miller off the mark, and Coleman boards it. Nice feed inside to Perry, and she couldn't convert.
Wow, missed Chippy.
A glorious opportunity falling by the boards. Later for 3. Out of bounds, and she was out of bounds while she touched it. It's Maryland basketball.
Great hustle by Clater. Nice job to challenge that shot. Looked like she was going to get an uncontested 3.
Lead is 12, and don't sleep on Christy Tolliver. She may not be having a great shooting night, but she will still take the big shot. Just 1 of 8 from the field. She loves nothing more than the big moment. Duran loves it too. That's a 2-pointer on the baseline.
Your lone senior gets her legs underneath her. Exactly what her coach had told her to do.
Duran with 10 points in the game. Latta on the blow-by, got the layup and the floater.
Shea Duran probably, and these are very good athletes, not the best at keeping the ball in front.
Right back at him. Shea Duran with 12 points now. 8.5 minutes plus to go.
If you can't stop him, score on him.
From College Park all the way to Ramshat Halashon, Israel, where they're watching tonight on ESPN. Duran for the hometown people. Lamont Jordan voicing his pleasure. Timeout, Carolina.
Brenda Fries calls Shea Duran one of the most important players in the history of our program. Why, Mark? Because she was the first high school All-America to commit to an untested, unproven coach for the most part in Brenda Fries. So the steal by Tolliver, they turn it the other direction. Tolliver with the push, challenging Carolina to play transition defense. Good spot up by Shea Duran. In the past, she might have tried to go off the bounce and attack. This is a highly emotional Maryland. How many times have we seen in the second half them make a shot and everybody chest bumping or hitting their chest?
With her grandfather watching back home in Israel. Duran coming up big in the last couple of minutes. And you know what else I love about her game and her whole state of mind? As a freshman, she had games where she scored 30s, 40s. To be able to see a younger class of player come in and to subordinate her game for the greater good is really exemplary when it comes to team play.
And you've got a lot of talent. You can't worry about who gets the shots, who's in the paper, who's the leading candidate for player of the year. It's got to be about team.
8-point ball game. See what Carolina runs out of this timeout. Pringle. Wow. You don't see that often. Latoya Pringle knocking down the foul line jumper. They laid off of her. She made them pay. 8 back up to 10 foul called against Miller. That's the 17th foul against North Carolina. Things getting kind of hectic as the Terps making a run. It's pressure time, and you know what pressure does? It makes diamonds and it busts pipes. We'll be back after this.
Exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
Maryland closing the gap on North Carolina, and Shea Duran on a nice roll right now. 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists.
She was under 40% from both inside and outside the arc a season ago. In the offseason, Mark, she worked incredibly hard to be more consistent, particularly on the dribble drive and off the move. She wanted to be a more consistent shooter. This is a lady whose parents are from Israel, has spent time growing up there. She feels like it's her responsibility by the publicity she gets being on a national championship team to bring attention to the troubles in her homeland. There's a lot weighing on this young lady's mind.
We all know about the unrest in the Middle East, and you saw the wrap on Shea Duran's right hand. That was due to a ligament issue and problem that she had for most of last season. But she says that with the couple of months of rest she had during the offseason, it's much better now. You may ask, why is she wearing that wrap? It's strictly a comfort zone thing now.
You know athletes.
Got to keep it the same. One of her idiosyncrasies that makes her feel much better. 8-point lead now after the free throw. Look at our stat track. Field goal percentage numbers have climbed since the last time we revisited it. As has the three-point shooting, and the points off the turnovers still in favor of Carolina. A chance now, though, to cut the lead to 6 for Maryland. Tolliver, halfway down and out. It was online. Tolliver with just 1 field goal. And Duran kind of lost her balance and traveled on the play. Going to lace it back up.
You see those pink shoelaces, folks. That is part of Hoops for Hope as well. And Kay Yao, you think about her return to the bench. That Hoops for Hope initiative, just hoping to raise money and awareness for breast cancer research. Welcome back to Kay Yao on the bench at North Carolina State. And her good friend Sylvia Hatchell in pink today for that initiative as well.
It's a continuing effort by women's college basketball to fight that insidious disease. And I want to send out our best to Coach Yao in her continuing recovery. 8-point lead, 7:21 to go in this battle between #2 North Carolina and #3 Maryland. North Carolina led by as many as 20 points at one point here in the second half. Maryland whittling away. Elena Larkin. Great footwork. That was a clinic.
And it's all about patience. She doesn't get rattled. She's going to square up, look at the defender, what are they going to give me? And able to make plays. That's an experienced player making a play.
Jade Perry, they lay way off of her. And Marissa Coleman with the putback. Back to 8 points, under 7 minutes to go. North Carolina supplementing their offense with a nice balance of interior and perimeter skills. Larkins on the inside, Latta on the outside. Here it's Larkins. Outside to McCants.
That's Larkins. Boy, she is a monster down there. The crowd going to react, but this is a terrific call, and it's active feet of Erlena Larkins.
Looked a little bit like sumo wrestling to me, Doris Burke. Well, a double dip tomorrow on ESPN, folks, starting at 7. Number 9, Pitt, trying to hold on to the top of the Big East as they take on Villanova. Then at 9, Nebraska and Kansas hook up. All on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light on ESPN and available on ESPN HD. Did you see Julian Wright go for that dunk and miss?
No.
For Kansas?
But he is maybe the best athlete in the country, Julian Wright.
He still got some boost and some hops, but didn't look pretty on that miss. And Larkins missing the free throw. The lead at 8. Christy Tolliver still waiting to find her offensive groove. Here she goes. And the wait continues. Coleman has her back on the putback, and she'll go to the free throw line for a pair. But an absolutely miserable shooting night for Christy Tolliver, the sophomore. 1 of 10 from the field. And probably say to her right now, she's probably thinking, geez, what would Michael Jordan do?
Yeah, keep shooting. Keep shooting. She's an incredibly mentally tough kid.
She grew up in the gyms of a lot of NBA players. Her father, George, a former NBA referee, currently an NBA supervisor. Watched Dream Team 2 play. Was pen pals for a long time with Kevin Johnson. Still haven't heard the last of Christy Tolliver in this game offensively as Pringle comes out of the ball game for Carolina. Breland comes in.
She's a heck of a competitor, Mark, and despite the poor shooting, it doesn't seem to impact her confidence.
Coleman knocks down the second one. And with 6:10 to go, it's a 6-point game.
I think you've got to work with Larkins. If she doesn't touch it, it would be a mistake.
They go to her early here, Doris. Carolina patient. They repost it to Erlena Larkins.
She had a drop step. I thought she could have drop stepped by Laura Harper on that one.
Little out top. 9 on the shot clock. Breland with the pivot. And she's going to Larkins' footwork school.
Well, I'll tell you, the post opposite Larkins should be able to get some activity done, and that's a big shot by the freshman. That takes some courage at this point in the game.
Lead back up to 8 for North Carolina. We have 2 undefeated teams on the season, along with Duke, and Brenda Fries says, can we talk? But Erlena Larkins has been an invariable and an inexorable force down low tonight for North Carolina, Doris.
We featured her in our Star Watch. She's one of the preeminent posts in the game. They're all over the ACC. On the face-up, she's very solid, Mark. She does an outstanding job of passing out of the post, repositioning, getting it back in deeper position. Face-up is there. Her footwork is so good. She has an understanding of how to make the step-through move. She'll just simply read what the defense gives you and attack off that.
Larkins, 17 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 9 rebounds. And for more, let's go to Rebecca.
Well, guys, the last 3 times these teams played, Erlena Larkins has averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds. And I asked her, why are you so effective against Maryland? She just smiled and said, Maryland plays me straight up. Guys, she hasn't made very many bad decisions on the offensive end at all tonight.
Yeah, Rebecca, you would know as a big person, when you're not double-teamed and triple-teamed, the game becomes a little bit more simplistic.
No, with that body and that footwork, if you're going to check her one-on-one, it's going to be a long night for you.
Maryland to inbound, down by 8. Juwan with a quick 3. Got it off glass.
Wow. Call that one. And you should smile because the basketball guys were good on that one.
Tolliver with the steal. And a foul against McCants. And that's her 5th. She's done. Rashonda McCants is finished for the night. That'll go in the books as a DQ. And well under her 10 points a game for Carolina.
And you know what, Mark? I did not like her reaction after that foul because her team was looking for her to come into the huddle. And you can give words of encouragement despite your tough night. Instead, she kind of walks away from the huddle, and you can see by her face she's disgusted. I have no problem with her being upset with her performance, but don't let your teammates down by not encouraging them as you walk off the floor. This game is far from over.
A good point. Fouled out with just a pair of points in the game. 5:09 to go. Maryland trailed by 20 points here in the second half. They've whittled that lead to just 5.
Well, this is what I'm going to talk about. Christy Tolliver's an outstanding job getting in the passing lane. She clearly commits a foul. Now, Carolina went to a huddle right after that, Mark Jones, and they were looking to get her in there. I think they were trying to encourage her and vice versa. That's simply a young player being frustrated by her own performance and not thinking about the team.
A good point to just a sophomore. She'll learn with 5 minutes to go here. Ivory Latta's been kind of silent in the last few minutes. Missing the jump shot on that attempt. Tolliver back the other way with just 1 field goal tonight. Got a screen from Harper. It's time.
We talked about it. Despite her struggle, she remains mentally strong, and you knew you'd hear from her before it was all said and done.
Maryland now with an 11-2 run. Ivory Latta calls timeout.
Christy Tolliver has struggled all game long. Remember, against Carolina in the Final Four, she had 12 turnovers, still able to make plays. Same situation here, Mark. It's been a tough night. It has not come easy, but you see the reaction of her coach. And Brenda's important in this equation, Mark, because she never loses faith in any of her players' ability. That's a great message from your sideline.
You're looking at the largest crowd ever to watch an ACC women's basketball game. 17,950 strong. Mind you, not all of the Maryland fans. Carolina fans showed up. They sold out their allotment of tickets. And we're told there's some of them in the crowd wearing the Carolina Blues. Some close to 2,000 of them were able to make their way into the building.
We had heard that 2 buses pulled up and out came the powder blue, the Carolina blue, I guess.
Latta for 3. Tolliver going to pull it out. Coleman for the tie.
Boy, how high did Pringle get up for that? Whoa.
Ivory Latta going to walk it up. You'd think that Perkins would have to get a touch here, but they go to Little. And Little had it deflected out of bounds with 12 on the shot clock. Timeout on the floor. Brenda Freese has found the right buttons in the last 10 minutes to press. Coming back from down 20 points. Lamont Jordan, the most passionate and ardent supporter. These two teams have played many close games during the past couple of years. 3-point contest with 3:49 to go. And when you look back at what happened last year during the regular season between these two teams, Ashley Newman, watch this shot. That sent the game into overtime. And then in overtime, watch this shot. It was that kind of night. Latta missing the attempt to tie. Maryland won 98-95 in overtime. And that ended North Carolina's winning streak. And that was significant for Maryland.
Yeah, and as you can see, Mark, 55 of 57 games, Carolina has won both losses to Maryland. After that win, Brenda Freese says, our program took a step forward tonight, and that it was the case. That really vaulted them into a #1 seed because they played stellar from that point forward.
5 on the shot clock for Camille Little. Rolling in with the left hand, missing again. And Tolliver is going to call out the half-court set. Tolliver able to make her last jumper. They switch out on her and take it out of her hands. 10 on the shot clock for Durant. It's a one-point game.
She does that so well. She drives hard, waits for the defense to clear, and then calmly drains it. She has done that over and over.
Incredible hustle that time by Harper to knock it out of bounds. And what a second half it's been for Durant. 19 points in all and 6 of 6 from the field in the second half. That's what that senior leadership does for you. It can be invaluable.
Well, we asked Brenda who this team looks to in tough moments. She said Durant and Langhorne. It's been the case tonight.
Here's a touch for Larkins on the blow-by and got the soft roll. That's unstoppable when she gets going.
Yeah, great job to attack quickly. She did not wait. That time, though, she was patient. She decided, I'm going to go quick, and attacks the high foot.
Durant on the wing, got a screen from Langhorne. Tried to find her in the pick and roll, and Maryland got it back.
Poor job by Pringle. She just tried to push pass to Alex Miller.
Tolliver on the baseline. That one was way off, tipped out of bounds, but it'll stay Maryland basketball. 20 on the shot clock. Christy Tolliver will get those jacks up now. Tried to hit Langhorne on the inbound pass, but tipped out of bounds by North Carolina.
Can't be casual. She was a little casual with that pass.
That looked like it was designed to get it right back to Tolliver. Here's Durant. And Carolina controls this time.
Now you've got a player hurt. Yeah, this is Camille Little.
Holding her calf muscles, and don't want to speculate, but sometimes you see that being the result of a cramp or a quick one anyway.
And she didn't want the play to stop because she knows if the play stops, they've got to take her out. So she looks off decanter and goes, no, I'm okay.
You see players pointing their toes like that, trying to stretch it out. That's sometimes what it is. Approaching 2 minutes to go. Little up top is swinging around weak side to Latta. Latta into the paint. Got the pull-up to go.
Tough shot. Similar move to her counterpart, Durant.
Nice run-up by Langhorne. Oh, she missed a golden opportunity on the layup.
Well, how about the challenge from Pringle? She knew, Langhorne, that Pringle is an outstanding shot blocker.
North Carolina, one of just 2 undefeated teams in the country right now, along with Duke. Trying to remain that way in a hostile environment here at Maryland. They came in undefeated in conference play, 6-0. Undefeated overall at 22-0. Little to the hoop. Got it. Camille Little gives North Carolina a 7-point advantage. She has 15, and it's time for Maryland to regroup. Well, they always say that the injuries don't hurt as much on offense, Doris.
That's right. She was fine off the dribble drive. If she's got to defend, it might be a little different. Solid screen by Latta, gets the step, gets the shoulders turned and squared. But she and Erlina Larkins were walking over to that sideline very gingerly. Be interesting to see how they can come out and defend.
Yeah, we saw Larkins hit the court about 10 minutes ago, going down hard, and Little holding her leg, holding her calf muscle a few minutes before that basket. W. Hatchell's team leading by 7 with 1:30 to go. You know, we didn't talk about this earlier, Doris, but North Carolina, as I said earlier, one of 2 unbeaten teams along with Duke. They haven't played in a week.
Yes.
And I had a chance to ask Ivory Latta about that, if there was a rust factor involved. She said, Mark, I hate being off this long because Coach makes us practice even harder than the games.
It's rare once you start conference play. Usually there's a rhythm about it.
Tolliver coming down on the wing. Coleman. Good trap by Carolina. 13 on the shot clock. Boy, they helped so well. Coleman forced that one. Pringle got a piece, and it results in a North Carolina possession.
And I'll tell you this, we've seen this before from Carolina. They answered the run from Connecticut. They made enough plays. Defensively, they're starting to get the job done. There's the foul by Durant.
as Latta will go to the free throw line with 1 minute to go in this game. Maryland had cut the 20-point deficit to a single point at 67-66, but since that time, North Carolina has responded with 6 straight points. Latta at the free throw line, a 79% free throw shooter on the season. Knocks down the first one. Well, when you make the plays that she does, when you're as effusive and as incandescent as Ivory Latta is, rap stars are going to want to hang around you a little bit. I can't get off of the fact that her and Ludacris become buddies now. Get him to show up at the national championship game if Carolina makes it that far. As Latta knocks down both free throws, she now has 28 points. And the meter running with 1 minute to go.
28 points, Mark, and I still don't, it doesn't look like she's 100% physically to me. And so that's amazing that she can get 28 and still not be back 100%.
Carolina below their season average offensively as Tolliver knocks down the 3 ball. It's down to a 5-point game. Still time to go, and they're forced to play the fouling game, sending Alex Miller to the free throw line. Miller, a 77% free throw shooter. As a team, it would concern me a little bit if I'm Sylvia Hatchell, because as a team, Doris, they shoot just 70% as Tolliver knocks down the 3 here.
Well, they're going to find her in big shots, big moments. She's the one they want pulling the trigger. Yeah, I mean, free throws at the end of the day, Mark, win a lot of basketball games for you. You've got to, inside of 2 minutes, under duress, be able to step up and make these.
Alex Miller at the free throw line. She has been one of their spark plugs off the bench during the course of the season so far. Singled out by her head coach, Sylvia Hatchell. Oh, they don't look like a 69% free throw shooting team on the season in this one.
If I'm Carolina, Mark, you don't want to come all-out pressure, but you certainly want to make Maryland take some time off the clock as they come up the floor, so you can kind of, as the dribbler's coming at you, back off a little bit.
A good point. You want to make them burn up at least a little bit of time, some token pressure, if nothing else. The lead back up to 8 points. 45 seconds to go. Number 2 leading number 3. North Carolina trying to remain one of 2 unbeaten teams in the nation, along with Duke. This very well may be a preview of the national championship game, or at the very least maybe a Final Four matchup between North Carolina and Maryland.
Brenda Fries was talking to us earlier because there was a story in the paper talking about the fact that they don't want to fall 2 games behind Carolina and Duke in the ACC. And it transitioned from a late January regular season game to a Final Four implication. She laughed at it. And, you know, her point is well taken. You've got to enjoy the journey, but that's the fact. I mean, this is the reality. They go down 2 games in the ACC. They only played Duke 1 time, so they lost their chance there. This was a tie-break situation. Should have come down to them and Carolina for 2nd place.
Although it is not a terminal situation should they lose.
Yes.
They did win the national championship, what is a 2-3 seed last year?
As a 2 seed.
35.1 to go. Probably Wiley Gatewood comes out of the ball game. North Carolina has had a week to think about this, a week to watch tape and break this one down. They haven't played since defeating North Carolina State a week ago today. And they have done their scouting reports well, leading by 8. Oliver trying to get free for 3. And Larkins on the rebound, fouled by Christy Tolliver.
Well, when you're in need of some assistance under duress late game, Mark, you turn to your seniors, you turn to your most experienced players on the dribble drive. We haven't seen a lot of that from Latta, but opportunistic there. The screen by the 2 seniors gets Camille Little an opportunity at the back. And so making plays down the stretch, experience, comfort.
Ivory Latta pumping up the volume on the Carolina fans that have made the trip here to College Park. Larkins at the free throw line, and Doris, you had an observation. Both Larkins and Little hobbling about the court right now.
Yeah, they look hurt, and I don't know whether it's cramps or they've done some. See how Larkins is making her way over there. And well, again, we don't want to speculate, but it just looks like cramps. And when you see the trainer handing Gatorade very quickly, that's a signal that it's cramping.
Interesting, when you watch North Carolina practice, at the end of their practices, Sylvia Hatchell will line the team up.
Yes.
I'm not exaggerating. They will get on the line, and she will hand out little packets of multivitamins and vitamin B12 she says it helps with their nutrition and helps prevent them from getting sick. And, you look at the long, arduous path of the regular season, any little edge helps, right?
Yeah, it does. I think she'd be well served to make sure they're chewing them and go. There's their upcoming schedule at Boston College. Could be 1 versus 2 on February 8th on ESPN2.
A big game against Duke looming on the horizon. Meanwhile, on the flip side with Maryland, they will be at Georgia Tech on Thursday, and then home games against Boston College and Virginia Tech. And it has to be somewhat disappointing that, although this one's not over yet, Doris, Maryland, in the face of supportive, sellout crowds, has been unable to deliver in such instances in the last couple of years.
Well, this would make it 0 for 5 in their record-setting attendance mark in the ACC.
Larkins knocks down the second free throw. The lead up to 9 points. 24 seconds to go. And Tolliver committing another turnover. This one is cooked, glazed, and just about sliced.
Well, it's an interesting situation in the ACC because you've got 3 of the best teams in the country. Florida State's solid, but in terms of conference, as you see the dejection on the Maryland side, Mark, conference RPI, they're only 4th. So you have the elite at the ACC at the top, and then there's a drop-off. The SEC right now is the best conference in the country. The Big 12 coming in second. And, of course, the big loss by Oklahoma yesterday. Got 4 teams behind them, Nebraska, Baylor, and Texas A&M getting a little life in the Big 12.
Talk about the SEC. Tennessee bouncing back from that loss against UConn to win handily today. Latta's free throws give North Carolina an 11-point margin. 15 seconds to go. Newman launching. And North Carolina will remain undefeated, improving to 23-0 and 7-0 in conference play. As Little booed. Well, what was she supposed to do? Throw it out of bounds? Ivory Latta says, we got you. A small measure of payback after losing to Maryland in the national semifinal back in April. North Carolina now, its best start in school history, 23-0. 84-71, the final margin. North Carolina winners tonight, as Maryland, meanwhile, falls to 21-2 as we go courtside to Rebecca. Rebecca?
Well, Ivory, 32 points tonight, a season high. Why were you so effective offensively?
I was just driving. I saw a lot of driving holes, and Coach kept telling me to drive and penetrate and get in the lane, and that's what I did.
The past 2 years, Maryland, the only team to beat you. How gratifying is it to come away in this atmosphere with a victory?
Oh, man, it's so sweet. We worked extremely hard. We had a week to prepare for them, and they're a great team. We came out here, we was really focused tonight, and that was the key to the game, be focused.
Battled the off-season knee injury. How close are you to being 100%?
I'm 110% right now. I still got a long ways to go. I'm going to keep rehabbing, keep getting stronger, and keep getting better.
Congratulations. Thanks so much. Mark?
You heard her, Rebecca, 110%. Like that popular rap song out right now. Ivory Latta was shaking her moneymaker. Certainly did it well tonight. A season high in points, invaluable leadership, and her irrepressible spirit as North Carolina wins 84-71. That's the final score. Stay tuned for the 2005 World Series of Poker. Don't forget our post-game extra on ESPN News. There's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and your exclusive home of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. Shake it up. North Carolina shook it well tonight.